Hi friends, I'm Miss Kim from the Evanston Public Library. Some of you may recognize me from our microwave cooking classes that we've been doing for the last few months. So excited you could join me today. We're going to do some great cooking for Mardi Gras, which is French for Fat Tuesday. In some places, they also celebrate it as Pancake Day. So we're going to do some fun pancake recipes, one in the microwave, one in the oven. So let's get cooking. So what we're going to make is a Dutch baby. It's a German pancake that you cook in the oven. And the one that we're making in the microwave is pancake-ish. It's sort of a microwave version of a Dutch baby, but if you think of it as a Dutch baby as opposed to a proper Dutch baby, which we will be making second. First, we're going to do our microwave one because it's super fast and super easy. So let's see what we need. So we're going to need a mug because this is going in the microwave. If you've been with me from my mug microwave cooking classes before, you're used to this. We're gonna have some shredded apple. It's a small apple that I've shredded up. You can see it's already turning a little brown from the air. Some brown sugar, light or dark, doesn't matter. Some splash of vanilla in extract, and you're gonna need some pancake mix to put in there as well. So we're gonna put everything into our mug. Put our apple in there. So I shredded pretty much the whole apple aside from the core, because nobody likes that. I'm gonna put our pancake mix in. We need 2 tablespoons. So you need about 3/4 of a cup of the apple. That's close enough. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of our pancake mix. You could find this anywhere. You might even be able to find recipes online to make your own mix ahead of time if you wanted to do that. And now we're going to do our brown sugar. Now with brown sugar, you always want to pack it down tight. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to keep my fingers clean, use the bag to pack that in and then level that off. So you've got a nice packed spoon of your brown sugar. And then you need just a tiny little splash of vanilla. I'm not even going to measure this because I'm just going to put in a couple drops of the vanilla, which I have this giant bottle and it's almost empty, so it takes forever for it. There we go. Just a tiny bit of vanilla. You mix all of that up together. And you're going to put this in the microwave and it's going to puff up nicely. So you can see it's kind of low in your mug right now. Get that last bit of apple off my fork there. All right. So it's kind of low in there as it is. Oh, and you need to put in an egg. I forgot my egg. This is why you should always make sure you read recipes before you do them. I thought it looked a little funny. There we go. You need something to hold all of that goodness together, right? So there's our egg. Let's stir that in too. There we go. It looks a little soupy, but that's all right. The pancake batter is gonna really get in there. So sorry about forgetting to tell you about the egg. So there, we're all mixed up and ready to go. So now we're going to throw this in our microwave for 1.5 to 2 minutes. So I always, when there's a range, I always start on the low end, check it, and see if I need to add time. Throw this in here for 1.5 minutes, and we'll see what happens. All right, it's been 2 minutes. Mine needed an extra 30 seconds. So let's see how this looks. Now be careful when pulling my microwave mugs out. They sometimes get really, really hot. Now you can see this is puffed up quite a bit. And now you can serve this. You can drizzle some syrup over it, maybe sprinkle some powdered sugar, entirely up to you how you want to do it. But there is your microwave mug version of a Dutch baby. So now we're going to make our oven Dutch baby. So a Dutch baby is a German pancake that you actually bake in the oven. You can serve it with fruit, you can serve it plain. I like mine with strawberries, so we're gonna do it that way today. You can serve it with whatever kind of fruit you might want. Sauteed apples, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, whatever. So we're gonna switch over and we're gonna see what we need to make our oven Dutch baby. We need a bunch of ingredients in order to make our Dutch baby, but it's actually really, really simple. We need a half a cup of milk and a half a cup of flour. You'll need 3 eggs. So one of the things that they try to do for Mardi Gras is to use up your flour, sugar, and eggs. We're not using a ton of flour or sugar, but we are using 3 eggs today. You'll need some butter. The nice thing about butter is it always has these measuring lines on the stick, and so it's very easy to see how much to cut off. So I always like to keep it cold so that I can cut it really easily. We'll need some vanilla extract, some white sugar. Here's my strawberries that I'm going to put on top of it later. And then we've got some powdered sugar, which will look really pretty at the end. So let's get some of the stuff out of the way that we're not going to use right away. And as far as other tools you'll need, a food processor. I have a little mini one here. That's all you need because it's not a lot of stuff. You don't need to pull out your giant one unless that's all you have. Or you can use a blender. Either way, you want to get that out. So you're going to get my sugar out of the way here, all of this stuff, and you're going to put it in your blender. So you're going to put in 3 large eggs. Now, when you crack an egg, you never want to crack on the edge of something because that can shove shell up into the egg. And you don't want to get germs from the outside of the egg into your egg. So always crack on the countertop next to you. If you're concerned about getting shell in, you can always crack this into a separate bowl first to make sure that you don't get any shell in your egg, because that never tastes any good. I trust myself, so I generally just put the egg into whatever I'm using it in. So 3 eggs go in here. And then we're going to add in our half cup of flour. I've already measured mine. When you're measuring flour, you want to scoop and then use a knife to level it off so it's nice and flat. And then we're going to put in our half cup of milk. I'm going to use that to try and chase some of the flour off at the top of this thing, though that didn't work very well. And then we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of sugar. So let's get our sugar here and just level that off with my finger. And we're going to use a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Nothing I forgot to tell you at the beginning, a half a teaspoon of salt. I'll pour my vanilla in there. And then we're going to get a half a teaspoon of salt. I keep mine in a little thing like this. Who knows how you keep yours, but it'll all be good. So we've got everything in here except our butter. We're going to use that a little bit later. I'm going to use this tablespoon to knock off this flour here because I want this to blend in when I turn it on. You're going to lid up your mixer and you're going to puree this until it's smooth. It shouldn't take too long. It is kind of loud. I should have warned you first. Looks nice and smooth. Looks pretty well blended. Maybe a little bit longer. There we go. So now we're just going to let this sit while we preheat our oven. So we're going to preheat our oven to 425 degrees. Come over here. 425. That's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to let our batter just sit over to the side while we do that. And this is going to hydrate the flour grains that we put in there. And it's going to make it really nice and poofy when it goes into the oven. So what we're going to do next is, and this is the optional part, I'm going to prepare my strawberries to go on the top. I like to do them ahead of time. I cut them up, put them with a little bit of sugar, and it pulls out those juices and it makes it really nice and strawberry juicy, and it looks real pretty, tastes fantastic. So let's get our strawberries ready. For this, we're going to need a cutting board and a knife. Now you can, I'm using strawberries. If you wanted to use apples, you could cut up some apples. And you need a small bowl to put your fruit in. How many strawberries do I want to do here? Pick out some good ones. I like a lot of strawberries, so you can do these. I'm just gonna trim off the tops, and I'm gonna quarter these. So like that. That's all I'm gonna do with all of my strawberries. You wanna wash your fruit first. I washed mine ahead of time. With blueberries, you probably don't wanna cut them up. Raspberries and blackberries, you might wanna cut in half maybe, or you could leave them alone. You could do a really nice mixed berry thing. That would be pretty and really tasty. So I'm just gonna cut these. You always want to be careful when you're using a knife. Keep your eyes on what you're doing so that you don't accidentally end up cutting yourself. That would be a really bad thing. I'm going to get a bowl here. I'm going to put all my strawberries in my bowl. Now I'm just going to take a spoon. There's no exact measurements to this. I'll do a teaspoon or two of sugar in there. Stir that up real good. You can do as much or as little sugar as you want. It's always a good idea to start on the lower side. I might have put a little too much in here because you can always add more sugar later. So you just stir that up so the sugar gets all over them. And then you just set this aside. And that sugar is going to pull out those delicious strawberry juices and make this just really shiny and beautiful and quite tasty. And then when your oven is ready, we will prepare our pan. Okay, so our oven is ready. We are going to prepare our pan and get our Dutch baby in the oven. So what we're going to need is 2 tablespoons of our butter. So I'm going to take a knife and cut at this. Each one of these lines is 1 tablespoon. I'm going to cut off 2 tablespoons of this. You can just use a butter knife. And you're going to throw that into your pan. You need an oven-safe pan. I've got a cast iron skillet here with a nice little handle so I can safely do it. You're going to need I need one of these to hold this up because it's really heavy. So you're going to take this and you're going to put it into the oven. You're going to put it in for just a minute or two just to melt the butter. So we're going to leave that in there for just a minute or two while our butter melts, and then we'll put that batter in. Meanwhile, you can take your strawberries, give them a quick stir. You should see that they're starting to get kind of juicy. That syrup is forming. It's like making a glaze out of your strawberries. Okay, let's check our pan and see if our butter's melted. That looks good. So we've got our butter melted in our pan. So this is really hot, but you want to gently swirl your butter to coat the inside of your pan. And then you're going to pour in your batter. Pour it all right in there. and then back into the oven. So here we go, back into the oven. We're gonna bake this for 18 to 20 minutes until it's puffed up and golden brown and delicious. So just be really careful because it's very sloppy. It's liquid, so it's very easy to spill it over the edge, and you don't want to do that. So now we wait and set a timer for 18 to 20 minutes. So my timer's gone off. Let's check our Dutch baby. Oh, this looks fantastic. Oh, put this over here on a heating pad. All right, let's take a look at our Dutch baby. Here we go. Gold and brown and all around the edges, nice and puffed up, solid in the center. So we're gonna cut this into 4 slices. Again, being careful because it is hot. And this recipe serves 4, so that's why we're gonna cut this into 4 beautiful slices here. Oop, it doesn't always wanna come apart. So we're gonna get out a slice. And this is how to make it look pretty when you serve it to somebody. Get this out of the way. Here's my beautiful Dutch baby. I'm gonna put some of these beautiful strawberries on there, making sure to get some of that juice out of the bottom. And then to make it look pretty, this is also very optional. You can sprinkle it with some powdered sugar. Now I'm gonna make it look a little fancy, so I'm gonna put my powdered sugar in a sieve, like that. And you just hit it. And look at how beautiful that is. And that is how you make a Dutch baby. So I'm so glad you could join me today as we celebrate Mardi Gras, also known as Fat Tuesday, also known as Pancake Day, making some wonderful, easy microwave and oven pancakes. Check out the recipes and enjoy. Happy baking or microwaving.